Hello, goddesses, gods, guides, fairies, and everything between. It is me, your girl, as Goddess Joe. If you are new here, welcome. I hope you find peace here. Like, comment, subscribe, uh, message, all that good stuff. And if you are returning, have you subscribed? No, but if you know me, you know that I have some information, some knowledge, or a personal story to drop relating to spirituality, my spiritual journey that could help you on your spiritual journey, and information on just being a spiritpreneur and owning my own type of spiritual wellness center. Drink every time you hear me say spirituality or spiritual, but or like a type of botanica that I hold, just tools for you on your journey to use. This video today is talking about how I discovered my one of my spiritual gifts, which is reading candles and the art of making candles for other people on their spiritual journey, whether it's for manifestation or whatever they need. I normally do consultations to figure out what's going on, what they need, and then that's after that I create a candle specific for what you're needing. There's a lot that goes into that process in itself, but that is one of my gifts. And I discovered it just kind of doing the work. My mom always tell me, do the work. My mom, she's the person who basically molded me into who I am today with my spirituality, just with life in general. Shout out to mama. And she always told me, do the work. Like, you can't get anything without doing the work. So how I figured out that this was one of my gifts, is because I actually did the work. No, I hate to say that, but I actually made it my point, and I was very intentional about my journey to unpack all of my baggage, not to let it off on anyone, just pack it where I was sitting and go through it. All the wounds that I bandaged up, uncovered them and healed them wound by wound. So that's where your journey should start. Just unpack, unlearn, relearn, heal those wounds, and just be intentional about yourself. Now, that went on for about a good 2 years that I was really going through the motions of fixing myself. I wasn't too much helping other people, which I'm a big helper. But during that time, I know that I needed to do certain things for me. And I talk about that in other videos, like my goddess energy, goddess journey video. That's one of my first videos I put on this channel, I believe. But yeah, so I did that for about 2 years. And then I was good. Things were happening. I was on my spiritual journey. I started realizing that I was creating more specific to my journey. I started, writing more petitions, writing more prayers. I started, praying more. And then I started manifesting even faster. And I used candles as a tool, to manifest. And I was getting it. Still am. But anyways, I was getting it at that time. And I was then in a position to start, help people on their own spiritual journey. Excuse me. On their own spiritual journey. And so there was a time, this is where the story gets, where it really starts. When I really start to hone in on my gifts. There was a time when one of my brothers was going through something, and he had, his mind was gone. Like, he would call me up, and he was just not well mentally, not well physically. And he had been, recently released from prison at the time. And just things were just like, it went from bad to worse to worse to worse. And he was all the way in New York, and we are from Jersey. And right now I live in Georgia. So to get him from point A to point B was just a journey in itself for him and I and everyone included. So I spoke to, and at that time, I wasn't as advanced as I am now. So of course, I had my mom. I spoke to my mom about it. I had someone or a spiritual friend. I had her do a reading for me about him, and also, put a candle out for him so he could see his way back home. She told me, that's not your brother anymore. That's like his mind is gone. That's an entity, like, that's taken over his mind. And basically, I needed to. I couldn't help him with his whole life, but in this instance, I needed to be the one to bring him back home, see to it that he got home. So of course, I was already doing my own things with candles and manifestation, and just really getting good on my spiritual gifts. So I lit candles for him. And I was in the beginning just like reading flames and like, oh, this flame is split in two, or this flame is expelling a lot of smoke. What does this mean? I was already curious from before this particular instance, but things were happening with these candles that had never happened before. Like one candle that I put out for him, it just completely went out. Like I lit it and it went out. Like, it stayed lit for a little bit. No breeze. This was dead summer. There was no breeze, no fan on, nowhere near the AC. I keep my candles in that same spot all the time, and it just went out. And that's normally not a good sign. It's like it's a sign of someone working against you. So I was very worried in that when that happened. I was very worried, very concerned, but I knew at the time, I knew my mission was to get him home, and I knew I had to get him home, and I knew that he would come home. So and this is just the spiritual side, because there was also a whole bunch of, phone calls that were done. There was, a lot of people that were involved, strangers, family, my husband. So I'm just giving you guys the spiritual side of the story, not what was actually happening on this human plane. So I lit another candle for him, and then there was I forget what bug it was, but I believe it was a wasp. This was the second candle. Like I completely threw that candle out, and I said, I'm not using it anymore. I'm going to get a new one, and I'm going to see to it that he comes home. Like, find your light through this. And then with that candle, it was like that candle also did not burn all the way. It didn't even burn halfway. It burned a bit, and there was a wasp, or I believe it was a wasp, if I can remember. I'm being a nosy neighbor because I'm in front of my mirror and I could see everything, my window, and I could see everything. Sorry. But there was like a wasp inside of that candle, and another bad omen. And so, and again, there was no way, call it what you want, but there was no way a damn wasp could have found its way to my bathroom. Yes, there is a window in my bathroom. That window was not open. Because that's where I moved the candle from where I normally had it, because like I said, the candle that it was never a breeze. It was and any candle I put in that particular area, it never blew out. So at this point, I moved the newer candle to my bathroom. No way a wasp or any type of bug, maybe a spider, and it wasn't a spider that was in there. Maybe a spider could have found its way to there. Maybe a damn horsefly could have found its way. I don't, even hard to believe that. But you know, flies get everywhere. But a damn wasp was very interesting to me. So I knew that was bad. So after that, I just, I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but that was my experience with the candles. After that, I just started, praying for him, doing all the physical footwork, and just making sure, like, I knew he was going to come home because he had to come home. I wasn't taking no for an answer. And he came home. He got his mind right for a little bit, but, there's another story that goes on with that. Excuse me, I am parched. So, to move on with the story about my gifts, because I'm going into that whole story. But I forgot where I was. He ended up coming home, and we got that whole situation situated. But after that, I was very curious about my ability to read candles. Like, even though I didn't see anything profound, I was getting the signs. It was coming to me, and I felt it. I felt something was wrong. I felt that there were things like working against him. I physically and emotionally was connected to the signs that I was getting through these candles. So I started doing my research on like reading on, people reading candles. And I honestly didn't do a crazy amount, but I did like flame readings. I did different, like, what does this mean? Like different bugs and different symbols. And I would just read candles for myself. Like, what could this mean? And when you're doing things for yourself, you're not 100% standing on, like, is this what I want to see? Or like, is this what I'm seeing? You're questioning yourself. So just on a whim, I read a candle for a friend one day. I was just like, oh, I could read your candle for you. I did say, like, I'm just getting into this, so I don't really know too much, but I know what I feel, and I could convey that, so take it lightly. Y'all, I read that damn candle down. And not only did I read that candle down, that was the most connected I had ever been when I was reading a candle. Like, I literally felt it. When I'm having an experience, I feel it through my eyes, and it just takes over. So I have to close my eyes and trust that something's gonna come through. And I did that. And it was just the most clearest picture. Like, it wasn't 100% clear because this candle had burned all the way to the bottom, and I was reading the remnants. I believe that's how you say it. The remaining. And it was just like, look at that girl over there. Look at that. Then the pieces of the puzzle started to come together. Like, that's that. Turn the candle. You see that? That's this. Turn the candle. And then it looked like, I guess, like, I think it's called panoramic view. I don't know if other readers are out there who get the same or feel the same or it comes the same way. But it was just like, I knew what I was doing. And it was so crazy because I was like, whoa, time out. Where did this come from? You know, I was like, what the hell just happened? And the reading was spot on. I'm not going to go into, I went into my brother's story, but whenever I have a session, I'm not going into, details about what was read. But let's just say I can confirm that it was spot on because we did confirm. So, after that, I still wasn't like, I called my best friend. I was like, yo, you would never believe, like, what the hell just happened? I don't know what came over me. I don't know what, but it just, like, it happened. It clicked. It came. I was so excited because, I wasn't searching for my gifts. I know it's in me, but I wasn't like, I need to be this kind of reader. I need to be this kind of spiritual. I need to be this. It was just like, I was mastering me and I was connecting myself and I was aligning myself. And now I am creating. Now I'm creating more. And I think the more I create and the more I discipline myself and the more I draw back and withdraw, which I have been told I needed to do. I need to withdraw from certain things or certain occasions and whatnot. The more I do that and the more obedient I am and the more I listen to my intuition, I become better. The more I take my emotion out of situations, not trying to win a situation, just trying to learn, I become better and stronger. And it just comes. And it's, a lot of you may not know, but I fast because I feel like I need to. I do drink water when I fast, but I don't eat. And I'll eat when the sun is down, throughout the day. Like when the sun comes up, no more. Throughout the day, do what I need to do. Remind myself why I'm doing it, and that's for discipline. And a lot of you are too worried about your spiritual journey and who you are, and you're not disciplining yourself. You're not doing the sacrifices in terms of sacrificing food or sacrificing the comfortability of your everyday life. You're not doing that. You're not doing the work. I told you, my mom tells me, do the work. You got to do the work. You don't get something for nothing, And I also honor my ancestors heavily. I ask for dreams, I ask for things to come to me. Before I know I'm having a session, I do my work. I cleanse my body. I cleanse my mind so I'm not emotional, putting my own human experiences and emotions and doubts into the situation. I am, I'm not saying I'm cold for sure. I'm not saying that I am HBIC up in this. But I am saying that I discovered my gifts through discipline, doing the work, and looking for lessons in the situations that I was in, and not looking to point the finger or to blame or to be a victim or to have pity. Pity is the lowest. Pity is the lowest, most disgusting frequency. Ugh. You gotta stop looking for another thing, you gotta stop looking for people to confirm your gifts. Just go with it. Just do what you're supposed to do. So I hope that helps you. I hope I gave you detail on my story on how I figured out candle reading was one of my gifts. I'll go into my other gifts when I'm ready to share. But for now, I know for sure that creating candles and reading candles, I know that that is my calling. And if you are ever interested in a consultation and getting a candle created or getting a candle read, then come and talk to me. One thing I am not is a psychic. I'm not a psychic. I'm not a medium in the sense of like I can see your future. I'm not that. But I have some gifts that I can help you out with. Visit www.jotanica.com. Reach out to me at the Jotanica Botanica at gmail.com, or go to Instagram and just type in Jotanica. That's Jotanica. And let's chat, let's talk. If you realize that, or if you have discovered that this is also your gift and it comes to you in a certain way or form or fashion, come and talk to me. I would love to have that conversation because, again, I'm really in my third year of like honing in on my gifts of reading candles, and I want to just get better. I want to not have tools to read. I've told you guys that before in my why I stopped doing tarot video, which is, check it out. But this video is long. I'm gonna stop it here, stop it now. And I just hope you appreciate my story. Mwah. Much peace, much blessings, much love, much abundance to you all.